Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, I just want to give you guys a heads up before you guys start this video. Is the video quality was actually horrendous. On my side, LJ's was fantastic, but mine was horrendous. We are currently working on that situation. I don't want to put any content out there for you guys that is just going to be, lackadaisical or just okay. So, unfortunately, guys, we're gonna have to just scrap the video part. It'll just be an all audio here on YouTube. Again, guys, uh, sorry for the technical difficulties. It should not happen again. I promise you, it will not happen again. We're getting this fixed right now. And so again, guys, I appreciate you guys watching and supporting the channel, man. And again, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I know a lot of you guys like to watch the actual video part of the podcast. I'm with you guys on that, but unfortunately, the video quality was just that bad that I'm not going to put any content out there for you guys that is just going to be mediocre. I want it to be full on, high quality content, not just some BS kind of thing. So, again, guys, stay tuned and continue to watch the video. Thank you guys again. Sorry for the inconvenience. All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of the TO Show, man. We are back again with another fantastic guest, another fantastic episode, man. Man, before we get into things here, again, guys, I loved all the support on the last episode. Man, you guys killed that last episode. Again, I appreciate everyone's support and all the comments that I got back from everyone. I really take those to heart, and I love it when you guys give me feedback on something that went well, something that didn't go wrong. But again, guys, if you continue to like this content, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe and like button, man. We're going to continue to get fantastic guests on here every single week, man. It doesn't matter, there's going to be no off weeks on this podcast, man. All our guests are going to be fantastic as we go in, and I appreciate everyone's, coming along the journey with us. But let's dive into things first. Here, we got an awesome guest with us today, man. We have one of the great tight ends in the CAA, man. CAA third team. He's a man, the myth, the legend, LJ WESNESKI, man. Welcome to the TO Show, man. I love to have you on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Anytime, LJ, man. We're starting to get into things here. Football season's coming upon us. What's your expectation? As you coming in, you're going to be what? This is what, your sixth year?
Technically sixth year. Yeah, I can't get out of it.
I know, you just keep coming back from
right.
Keep coming back. Keep wanting to play. It's awesome. Glad to have you back, man, for your sixth and final year. What are you expecting out of your kind of just final year here at UAlbany? What's the expectation for yourself?
Well, for one, it's good to be back to the normal, having fans be in there and capacity and everything like that. But I'm honestly just looking forward to getting back into it. I think we have a really good team. Obviously, we lost a few guys on both sides of the ball, but I know we have guys ready to step in and fill their shoes. We have young guys, stepping up. Our O-line I think is gonna surprise some people, having to replace a lot of vets on there and everything. I think that we are gonna have a really good year. I think if we all get on the same page, which I think it started with summer workouts, I think we really pushed through and connected and started flowing in the right direction there. I think if we continue that and keep it clicking through camp and everything, I really do think we're going to surprise some people and have a really good season.
That's awesome. So it's your sixth year, man. What has college football kind of taught you? Like, you've been here for 6 years, man. You're a true, veteran. Like, you've been here probably the longest just about anybody here at UAlbany's, ever been.
Right.
So what is it, what has it been like? We've seen college football come out, and it's been completely different since your freshman year to now. What have you seen the changes, and what have you seen the change for good or the change of better over these 6 years that you've been in college football?
So, being in this program for going on about 6 years now has you learn a lot. Just looking back to when I came in as a freshman, and it's kind of a little bit shell shocking. You go from being on your high school team, which is obviously you're going to play, at a high level. You're one of the best players on your team, to coming in here and seeing, well, every single one of those kids that was the best on our team is now playing with you. You're now playing against them. So you learn to kind of accept that you're not going to, not necessarily that it doesn't happen, but you're not going to break through right away. It's kind of a settling experience, because you're learning from new coaches. You're learning from older guys that have been through it and know what to do. You're taking, tips and pointers from, not even necessarily your own coach, but, other players and other coaches of different positions trying to help you out. And it's the whole time I've been here has honestly been just learning. Coach Byam talks about always perfecting your craft. And that's one thing that I've realized throughout here is, no matter how long you're here, there's always something to improve on. You can finally, really get good at like taking steps and footwork, for instance, but then your hand placement's a little sloppy. So there's always something to work on. And I think that was the biggest thing to learn is, I'm going on 6 years and I'm still learning. It's not like by now it's like, oh, you should know everything. There's always something to improve on. There's always something to perfect. And now it's also getting into, you come in as a freshman, your objective is to learn the plays. After you learn those plays, now you're kind of like, from an offensive standpoint, it's more of, okay, I know my plays, but now how about I know what footwork I should take against, a certain technique on the defense and stuff like that. So it's learning that and understanding it's not just, okay, I'm blocking this guy, it's how am I blocking him? If it's not like I have this route, it's what type of release do I want to take? So the big thing is just you're always learning. There's always things to improve on. And if you think that, you're kind of good where you are, you're not. And someone else is going to try to, take advantage of that and pass you. And it's always a competition. It's always a competition. Yeah, we're all friends and brothers on the team and stuff, but everything is competing and effort and all that.
I'd agree. I think that's such a great point, is that you come in as a freshman and you're just really trying to earn the bare minimum as you possibly can, just because there's been so much stuff thrown right at you.
Right.
Like, you just don't, like, you're in a new situation, new people, new coaches. You're not the man anymore like you were at your high school team. We've talked to a lot of people, oh, I'm the man, and then you come in and you kind of start right back on the bottom of the totem pole again. You learn your way all the way back up again, and then if you make it to the next level, it's the same way to doing that. And so I think that's such a good point. And for any incoming freshmen or people who are coming in, I think that's, even coming from a JUCO places, that's so true. You got to learn how to. It's a progression. You're not going to be able to make a crazy jump. There's only a handful of people in the entire world who have been able to, one, start as a true freshman, but then actually be able to, like, do really well and compete at the highest level. And I think that's super important when you're coming in to say, hey, I want to play, but make sure that you grasp the right stuff and know, hey, it's not going to all come in one day. It's a process. It's a step-by-step. And it's also a great learning point from you, knowing that you're, playing 6 years in college football, that you're still learning.
Right.
And I think that's great. I mean, just because you're not satisfied with just being you made third team All-CAA. You're not satisfied with being All-CAA. You want to be an All-American. You want to be possible, NFL and doing all these other great things. But outside of football, what do you enjoy? We talked a little bit about the progression. You've been here for 6 years, and I think it's kind of, football is like a job, and you need to have, we've talked about on the podcast, you need to have other hobbies and other things to do. Right. So what do you like to do in your free time?
So I actually play a lot of video games with my friends and stuff. I stream on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/PolishFam86. Had to put the plug in. But yeah, I play a lot of video games. Just to take advantage of time to wind down and stuff because and a lot of people understand going through school, waking up early for meetings or lifts, then going to your classes, then you come back for more meetings, then practice and stuff. It's a fun thing to use, just wind down, relax, hang out. And then with streaming, I've actually been able to meet different types of people who want to come into the channel and chat with me and stuff like that. So it's honestly really fun.
What do you usually playing on the Twitch streams? Or is there a certain game that you're usually like a certain thing, or do you like to kind of change it up?
So I usually mix it up. I usually play the three games I play the most is NHL, Rocket League, and Call of Duty. So I stream all three of those. I probably stream NHL a little more frequent than some of the other games, but I stream all three. It's just, like I said, just something fun to do. Like I said, I like having people come into the chat and talk about whether it's the game, they ask me just questions about myself, about what I do and stuff like that. So it's a fun experience. We have a good time. We try to take as many W's as we can as well. So hopefully we don't perform too bad. But it's honestly a little nerve wracking. You get people in there watching you.
Is it?
You're like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to do bad. But it's fun. It's fun.
You enjoy it? Is that kind of one of your kind of getaways from like everything else, like football, school, and stuff like that? Is that a good way? And also, like, when do you usually stream? Is it like once a week, twice a week, or is it kind of just whenever you have time to kind of do things?
Right. Yeah. So it definitely is a getaway because you got school and football practices, games, all that stuff. It's just nice to kind of focus on just something fun, hanging out with your boys and whatnot, and just mess around and everything. But I try to stream. Honestly, I try to stream almost every night. All depends on other people's schedules and stuff like that. Because usually when we play, we like to get full team together, so we have communications going and stuff like that. But I try to stream every night. If not, I'm probably usually streaming roughly 3 to 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. Where else can they find you? Do you have any social media that they can kind of be able to follow you and see you as they're going through here?
Yeah, so if you guys want, you could follow my gaming Twitter. It would be @ and then capital P and then capital P as in Phantom 86, or if you just were to search on Twitter Polish Phantom 86, no spaces or anything, my Twitter should pop up for you, and you guys can follow, check out. I have a bunch of clips up there and stuff like that from streams and just off stream gaming sessions and stuff, so you can feel free to check everything out. If you like it, I say give me a follow, hit the notification bell, and
that's awesome. This good man is on a stud on the football field, but also a stud in the gaming room. I don't know what y'all call it. I'm not a gamer at all. Gaming room, man. He's a stud he's a stud. He's catching balls and he's catching dubs on the with the controllers too.
The hand-eye coordination carries over.
Exactly. That's awesome stuff. But outside of being able to have that Twitch stream and kind of that getaway, is there anything else that you like to do outside of football? Is there any other hobbies that you really have, or you kind of just invested a lot in the video game kind of in that part?
I play a lot of cornhole, actually.
You do?
Yeah.
Big cornhole guy?
Big cornhole guy. I love playing it. When I was younger, my dad built a couple boards like himself and stuff like that, and ever since then, play a lot of cornhole, whether at my house, at parties, ESPN. Cornhole's taken off to be professionally now. If there's nothing else on, I'll throw on some cornhole and watch it on ESPN and stuff. I love it, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. You watch those guys on ESPN. I always wonder what those guys get, because it's like, oh, Johnsonville, cornhole, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a couple of people, and I was like, well, what do you get? A case of Miller Lite and a whole freezer full of Johnsonville rods?
They play for a lot of money actually.
Yeah.
Like I think the one tournament I was watching a clip on YouTube. Like it was a singles because they have like doubles and singles for that stuff. I think that round whoever won like 15K. Something like that. I'm like, just for some cornhole, man. Like, let's go.
Maybe it's my post-retirement ordeal is playing some cornhole. Anybody who's played me in cornhole knows that, I'm okay at it. I'm all right.
You want to partner up?
Maybe we should partner up and just take over the Johnsonville cornhole and be like, hey, I don't want the 15K.
Right.
I want $10,000 worth of Miller Lite, $5,000 worth of Johnsonville brats,
exactly,
man. Or just a lifetime supply. I'll take that too.
Yeah,
man.
I think these people are doing it wrong.
I think so. Maybe they just need to get in some endorsement deals or stuff like that. Hey, man, come on here. We'll win this, and hey, we'll put your name on our jerseys.
Put it on the jersey, yes,
jerseys
sir.
And stuff, and market myself that way. I don't know. I wonder if that's a full-time gig, or are they doing it on the side of like their actual
That's actually a good question. That's actually a good question. I wonder because I mean, the way these people shoot, though, you would think that's all they do.
Do you know where they play those games on ESPN and stuff?
They play them everywhere, and actually a lot of them are like indoors. So I mean, I feel like if they wanted to have a tournament in the winter, they just go inside and play anyways. You know what I mean?
If I was in there, I'd be even better. I'm not worried about the wind direction.
Right. It takes some factors out of it.
Yeah.
I think we should do it. Shock the nation.
I don't know. We'd be the Cinderella story.
Right. A dream team.
Oh, man, that's so fun. It kind of sucks. I love playing cornhole too, and I kind of sucks that you can really only play it in the summertime. You can't really play in the winter and stuff like that. So you got to get, first couple games, rusty games, get them out of the way, and then like, all right, let's bring it on.
Exactly.
Usually when I go to my girlfriend's, they'll go like have like camping and all these other stuff. I'll go up there, and man, I'll just take over. I'll be on the boards all day because I'm just taking over the entire.
Love it. Winter stays.
Winter stays, and I'll just take over the boards, and it's kind of fun because then I start talking smack, and I get into people's heads, and it's a fun time.
Oh yeah,
going to the her family stuff, and it's fun.
Oh yeah, nothing like sinking 4 bags off rip and just having the other person look at you like,
it's gonna be one of those days.
This is gonna be a rough one, Yeah.
Well, two of her family members were actually in like a cornhole league, I guess, around Clifton Park area. I don't know. I don't think they do it anymore, but they were at one point, and they were partners. And usually I partner up with my girlfriend, and I'm like, hey, you just got to limit the damage. I'll score all the points. You just got to limit all the damage here because that's all it is. Hey, as long as you can hold them to – because they're pretty good. And you just got to hold them. They're our only two really big competitors. Everyone else we kind of just – blow out of the water, but other than that, it's a good time.
When I go up, my girls, actually it was like one of the last times I was up there. I swear, when she plays against me, she just drops them, like puts them in on the board. Like I'm like, oh, okay, all right. When she's on my team, sometimes it's like, what happened? Like it's like I think she's trying to sabotage me sometimes. I'm just like, come on, like you had no problem throwing against me and putting 3 in, but you want to be on my team, and it's like, all right, let's hit the board. You know what I mean? But she's good. She's good.
Just imagine you're playing against me every single time. That's what you got to tell her.
True.
Just imagine you're playing against me. Hey, we're actually on the opposite teams. You're trying to beat me actually here. We'll have a competition. Who can get the most points for the team?
Right. I should play the mind game. That's what we should do.
It's all mindset. It's all
plant the
things.
seed. Isn't everything though?
I guess so.
Isn't everything a mind game?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think a lot of it, like they say, mind over matter. I think you could say that because it's all. I think you can do more than what you actually think you can.
Right.
So it is somewhat of a mindset to everything in life, but I think also if you put your mind to it, you're gonna get her done. I think if you really want to
get her done. Exactly. Yes, sir.
Larry the Cable, the guy, get her done. But I think that's a great question to say. I think like when people run marathons or like you see the Olympics coming up here soon, people are constantly pushing limits of other things, and I don't think it's like it's part of it's like technology, and we've learned more about the human body, but I think it's also that we've also like we're constantly pushing ourselves as humans to like run the fastest time or jump the farthest or be the strongest, fastest, or whatever it is. So I think part of that is like, well, when you like, let's say we can use like the NBA as an example, be like, well, the NBA is better now than it was later. You could even say that like when the NFL is better now than it was back in the 70s, 80s, whatever. Well, of course it is because not hitting on those great players, which they're all great. And I think if they were put in the same situation that people were put in now, it'd be a very similar story. But I just think that if you actually look at it, probably players now are better than the ones later just because, you know, technology and they set the standard and the standard's been improved just because of
Right.
again mindset and all these other things that I think is super cool.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah. All right, LJ. So going back is so we talked a little bit at the start about football and our mindset and all these other great things. What do you think? What is your end goal? You're a senior. What are you looking to get out of this last season? Because you know, hopefully you get a shot at the NFL. Everyone hopes they get a shot. I think you will definitely get a shot at the NFL.
Appreciate it.
But NFL stands for not for long, so you just never know when your opportunity might be up or these other things. Have you thought about workplace and but at the end of the day, first off, we'll go into what's your goal just for this fall as you as an individual. What are you looking to get out of this?
So, I mean, I don't really have like crazy individual goals per se. I mean, I would like to, I guess, replicate a season that we had in 2019. I felt individually, besides the team, I had a really good year. So if I could replicate something like that, that would be awesome from me personally. But as a team, I want a conference championship. I want to win the CAA, and then obviously every team says it. We want to win a national championship. Well, yeah, I would love to win a national championship, but I think that in order to do that, we need to just, as Coach G would say, just do your jobs. Just you don't do too much. And I think that we just need to take this season one game at a time. If something bad happens, I think that we need to really get in the mindset of shaking things off. Like you're gonna win a play, you're gonna lose a play. It's football. It happens.
Yep.
So I think we need to, if we can just focus on more the positive and doing our jobs and coming out and taking each game one at a time, I think that we will set ourselves up to have a shot to win that conference championship.
Yeah.
I think that I said I think we're young, but I think we're taking the right steps to become a really, really good football team and that's on both sides of the ball. It's not just offense, that's defense as well. I think that this season I really want to beat Richmond.
Yeah.
I really
want to do the, I don't know if, I think this, is that every time I think we flew, we've lost a game.
Yeah.
So I want to, one of my goals is, hey, we're going to break that son of a gun. We're going to win every game that we fly.
Yeah. That's also very, I honestly didn't even really think about that.
Yeah.
That's actually very valid. And I definitely I want that goal too. But Richmond, I said going on 6 years, I've yet to beat them.
Yeah.
I've yet to beat them in my time here at Albany. So that's a big one for me is to get that win.
Yeah, I think that is true. And then going back so let's talk a little bit about yourself, LJ. What is your majors, your minoring, and what are you looking to do, post outside of the NFL, of course, but is there a specific job, a field that you're kind of looking in to get into? If you had any internships or anything like that to help you figure that out, or just go in depth and talk a little bit about that.
So I'm a double major here. So my first major is Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Emergency Preparedness. And then I was a communications minor, but after I finished my EHC major and all the COVID stuff happened, and we found out, we were lucky enough to have an extra year of eligibility. I was only 4 classes short of turning my communications minor into another major. So I took that route, and this fall I'll be finishing the communications major. So then I will graduate as a double major with an EHC degree and then communications degree. With those degrees, I would like to work federal. I would like to work in the FBI or CIA, and I would want to focus on like our country's critical infrastructure or human trafficking.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's cool.
believe it or not,
That's
it's
awesome.
some scary stuff, but
Scary
it's
stuff.
it's
very
real.
real. It's very,
Very
real.
real, very real. So I want to. I took a class on it. Like one of my major classes was focused on, it was literally human trafficking, and you learned a lot there, and understand that it's more frequent than you think, and you're actually around it more than you would think. And so I really want to get involved with that and try to help minimize that threat as much as possible. But then with communications, I would like to work in like public relations.
Yeah.
Preferably if I could, with like maybe a major company, but honestly with a professional team. I think that would be really cool, and then I get to stay around the sports world and everything like that. So
Yeah, are you a big sports fan? Sports fan guy?
oh yeah,
Who are your teams?
oh yeah.
Who you
So
got?
baseball, I'm a Yankee fan.
Okay.
Hockey, I am a Flyers fan.
Okay.
So they cause me some stress.
Yeah.
And then football, I am a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Man, you're all over the place.
I'm all over the place. I definitely can't be called a bandwagon, though. That's for sure. With my choice,
especially with the Bengals.
The Bengals is a rough one, but hey, it's another year. It's another year. I think when Specty was here, we were the only 2 Bengals fans, so we had to stick together.
Yeah. How do you feel about what the Bengals have done over the past year and a half with their team? They showed a lot of promise, and with Jamar, how do you feel about the Jamar Chase instead of taking a tackle in the first round?
So I was a little upset, but then I realized, I forget names off the top of my head, but they actually made some moves before the trade deadline to pick up some linemen. So as much as I still would have loved for them to take a big time lineman, in the draft, I'm not terribly upset with the choice of getting him, because he's a really good player, and I think he's going to do well. But I just hope that, I hope Burrow's recovering smoothly, because we're going to need him. We're going to need him at quarterback nice and healthy for this season, because honestly, the Bengals record, last year didn't look so hot, but when he was there, they were doing some things.
Yeah.
Before Burrow went out. So
I'm curious to see. Like, I still think they're 2 to 3 years of being an actual playoff contender, but there's definitely promise there, because think about it, right? I think Tyler Boyd is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
He puts up 1,000-yard receivers, and nobody ever talks about him.
Mm-hmm.
Him putting there with Jamar Chase is, I think, a fantastic move. I think he was the best receiver in the draft, not even close, hands down.
Hands down.
And the defense is the only thing that sucks. Like, it just is horrendous, but it's a process, and you gotta make moves there, and
it's hit or
and
miss,
stuff like
definitely.
that. And I just think also that defense got old when you had Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap, who were pretty staples, and I think you had Kirkpatrick as a corner. He was all right. He was a solid corner, and you were okay, and then you kind of just everyone got old, and you kind of everyone just kind of went away.
Right.
But
yeah.
That's what happens when you rebuild. But it's also a factor of free agency, of the way the owner does business and stuff like that. When you're the only NFL team that doesn't have an indoor facility,
right?
You don't get treated the best. They're okay with being okay with not saying Marvin Lewis firing was the right move, but
it was.
Well, I'm just saying he was probably there for longer than what he needed
He
to
needed
be.
to be, exactly.
Just because the owner didn't want to buy out his contract and move on with it, and it was just it's interesting. But
The thing is, actually, with that, before his last year that he coached, before he was gone, he actually was. I mean, I don't know how true this was, but it was more of like NFL sources and ESPN
speculation.
sources.
There's a bunch of speculation.
Yeah, they actually were saying that he wanted to leave, and the Bengals brought him back. Like I don't know what they did, but they had him to stay. And I'm like, I personally think, one, he's not doing the best, but two, he also wants to leave. I think you should have let him go. You know what I mean? Like he's only there for one more year, but still, you know what I mean. If the performance isn't there and the coach himself wants to actually leave,
Yeah,
maybe let him.
yeah. I'm also
You know?
I'm also not. I always thought like when they hired Zach Taylor, I was like, who?
Yeah, he was
A little bit the quarterbacks coach for the
from
Rams
yeah,
under McVay
from
when
Rams.
they went to the Super Bowl. But I was like,
I didn't
man.
see him getting the job exactly. If that's what you meant, or did you just straight up not know who he was?
No, I know who he was, but I was like why more
Right.
or less?
Right.
Just because I just felt like in that scenario that there was other. I just felt like they needed, like, they didn't need a brainiac necessarily. I just think they needed like a leader, somebody who's going to be willing to, like, motivate the team, not necessarily be all the X and O's, but get the best out of the players, like a Nick Saban, for example.
Right.
Not exactly Nick Saban, but a coach who's similar to like that. But your Yankees, man, they are sucking too. What's your team?
Easy, man, easy.
Flyers didn't do well. They didn't make the playoffs.
The Flyers is a whole nother story. They start off hot and then just
Yankees
drop it.
they're probably
Yankees are
not gonna make the playoffs. They're sucking.
they're gonna need to pull something.
Bengals are a long shot away from being good.
We're not even gonna talk about them.
We
Bengals.
just did.
We're done talking about it. That's what I should say. We're done talking about the Bengals. But yeah, it's a rough one. Like I said,
They have the second highest payroll, if not the highest payroll. I think it's the second, higher than the Dodgers. And not even gonna make the playoffs.
hey, I will say, if Houston doesn't cheat, the Yankees beat them, and who knows if they win another World Series or not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because that's who they ended up beating to go to the World Series. Astros beat the Yankees.
Yeah, well, I still think the Dodgers probably had a better shot at beating them.
Hey,
It could have happened.
it could have
though.
happened.
It's
That's
baseball.
what I'm saying.
Baseball
Right?
can
You never
happen to
know.
anything.
You never know.
But I think
one error here, something like that. Who knows? Whole different ball game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about that, and even with this baseball stuff, all this like with the what is it called, spider tack with the pitchers. Now that they're having every half inning or every other inning that the pitcher has to come off, and the umpires have to check him. And then there's a big debate on the pitcher as well with the rosin and sweat and sunscreen. I can create something very similar. So
Right.
what does that mean? Because I'm allowed to use rosin, but I'm just not able to use other spots.
Right.
I don't know. It's curious to see like how this is gonna work, go out and how this rule is gonna evolve. And I just think I always grew up a big baseball fan, but I feel like baseball has slowly kind of just sucked. I don't know.
It
just
hasn't
feel
been
like
the
it's
best
just-
over the past
It's
few
just
years.
not been like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just been after these 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It's just I've really lost it because it's just like it just sucks.
It's Well, was it Kershaw when they played the Phillies? Girardi, he was now the manager for the Phillies.
Yeah.
I think checked him like 3 times in the same game.
That's Max Scherzer, I think.
Or Scherzer, that's who it was. Scherzer checked him 3 times in the same game, like just for something, and every single time they found nothing. Like it's just getting crazy with what they're doing with pitchers now and stuff.
Yeah, and sports world is evolving, crazy. Even with the basketball stuff, not seeing like a LeBron in the finals or all these other teams. Like, not saying the Bucks weren't necessarily the best team. They weren't the best team on paper to win it all. Even the Suns, you'd have been like.
Well, I'm a fan of that. I'd rather
I'd
teams
rather-
like
I-
that
that's
go
what I'm
than
too.
people trying to form super teams and stuff. I was happy with this NBA. I'm not a crazy NBA guy.
Not me
like,
neither.
If I do, like, I will say I'm a Celtics fan, and that's because I watched it when it was, Ray Allen, KG, Paul Pierce, back. So
Rondo.
yeah, Rondo, like
2000.
years. So that was really the last time I watched it, but I was happy with who made it to the finals and stuff, because I'm tired of seeing super teams, all this and that, and and I'm glad Giannis won. I'm glad he got it.
I think it definitely makes the NBA a lot more interesting, because I mean, even though I think they do get better ratings when the best players are in the finals, like if KD and if the Nets and not Clippers, the Lakers were in the finals, I think it'd be like everyone would tune in to watch.
Right.
But I think now, since they're not, like, Giannis is a superstar, but like it's not like two of the best players in the world or whatever,
going
it is.
Head to head.
It's really hard to watch it.
Right.
I
get
because
that.
think about it. Even
that.
When Brady and Mahomes played, man, everyone watched that because these are like the two best players in the world
and it was like position. The old versus the young as well.
It's like, is the old gonna outlast the young, or is the old gonna pass it to the young?
Right.
Which is kind of crazy. But I think there's even super teams forming in the NFL.
You get. Go ahead. I agree with you.
I think
I
there's
agree with you.
and I think you're gonna see it more often. And I think the Broncos kind of started to trend a little bit when they got Peyton Manning, was all these veterans would sign deals. I mean, the Colts probably kind of started a little bit too, but more of the Broncos really got into with free agency and stuff, is that all these vets would sign for bare minimum because they wanted to win a championship.
Right.
And I've always thought that was like, I understand, like, you're not, while you're there, you got to make as much as you possibly can. But if you've been in the league for over 7-8 years, man, you've probably made your money, and you're making good money on endorsements and all these other things.
Definitely.
So I always thought it was like, hey, go to these players and say, hey, we got the guys. If we can just recruit a bunch of guys in free agency, or even just recruit a bunch of veterans and get them on our team, man, look out.
Just give them like 1 year deals.
And think about it, you can even do this with what they do with Gronk, is they say, hey, Gronk, man, take off like the first 2 days of practice, show up to practice on Thursday, and then walk through Friday, and you're all set. So I just think what people are doing with that is relatively smart, because they know how to practice, they know how to play, they've been in the league for that long.
Right.
It's not like they're a rookie or a second year, third year. Like, even like with Jawan, Jawan's going to need to do all this stuff because he hasn't proved himself, because he's been in the league for very little. But when you've been there for so long, done that, been here, done that, I think it forms also a good culture in the locker room, because those vets know what to expect and have been there, and they know what the standard is, and they're going to hold that locker room and the younger guys
keep
to that
everyone
standard
accountable.
And exactly.
Keep them accountable.
And I think that's so true when you said there's a reason why the Bucks won the Super Bowl, is because Tom Brady made Bruce Arians, the whole coaching staff, training staff, front office, players, everyone who came in said, oh gosh, this guy's doing more than what I thought. I got to put in more effort. I got to make sure I'm at my best, because he's going to be at his best.
Yep, exactly.
So I think if you can get those guys on your team, I think it'll be interesting. But have you read all the stuff about, Aaron Rodgers and all this other things where, the Packers aren't really valuing, and he turned down this deal?
I did say that after the last season, I remember him saying that he won't be back. He won't be back in Green Bay. And I think I think I maybe saw something small, was kind of a value aspect, and he didn't feel like he was being valued as much as he should. And not that Aaron Rodgers is, that type of player, by far. But he just felt he wasn't getting, what he should after giving everything to the organization and stuff.
I think what I thought was interesting is that, so they offered him a 2-year extension to be the highest paid player in the NFL. And I couldn't find numbers. I tried searching numbers, And I couldn't see if it was a per year or if it was an overall.
Right.
But it would have kept him in Green Bay for 5 years. Well, Jordan Love would have been on his contract would have expired by
Right.
then. So what does that mean, like for Jordan Love? And I understand he declined it because it's not the money.
Right.
It's just he wants to be able to have a say and valued because you look at it, Tom Brady, like you can even say we even said, and that was a good point was Andy Dalton. When they traded up to get Justin Fields, they called him before they traded up to get him and let him know, hey, here's what we're doing. You okay with it?
Right.
Yeah, well, you got it's business. You got to do whatever you got to do.
Right.
But it's just the fact of that professionalism and stuff like that. I mean, you can even look around at like any sort of big time NFL quarterback is gonna as Woody. They gave him the keys. Say, hey, you are gonna have a say. If there's something that goes on, feel free to contact me.
Right.
Let
Speak
me
up.
know. Let me know about it because at the end of the day, like we're here, we're building the team around you.
Right.
And you're the face of the franchise. We're gonna make the moves, all this little moves and stuff like that. But I think that you need to have a say if there's something that that you think is important. And I think that's a reasonable say because I mean Aaron Rodgers won an MVP.
Right.
He was probably arguably, if Kevin King doesn't get beat on a deep throw on the second half, or they actually go for it instead of kicking the field goal. I mean, there are again, NFL is so crazy.
Right.
I mean, you're
Who
one
knows?
play, 2 plays.
Right.
College, like college football, you're 1-2 plays away from a win and a loss. It's crazy.
You never know. It can go either way. Either way.
As you get like in high school, I didn't really have any games like that. We pretty much blew out just about everyone we played. It's kind of crazy coming into college. And
Seeing these close games.
It's like, good grief.
Right.
Every game's close. It don't matter. Like, there's no, like, weeks off or, like, stuff like that. Like,
especially our conference. I think our conference is one of the most competitive in FCS.
I'd agree.
I think every team, top to bottom, it's not like where you can go into a game and be like, oh, we're playing, this team, should be. No, you never know. That the minute you take your foot off the gas, they're right there.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, it's a tie game.
What's crazy in high school is, like, stats I kind of put up. I played, like, half our games. Like, not even, like I'd play, the first half, and then I'd just be done.
Yep.
I'd be pissed because I'm like, oh, I want to score. I want to get some, like,
Right.
I want to touch the rock. I want to play. And it was just kind of weird as we got in, as the playoffs as we progressed. Like, it'd be a hair closer games, and I'd actually play the whole game. I'd be like, I haven't played the whole game in like the whole year pretty much.
All of a sudden, yeah. That's my senior year was basically the same way. We would be out of there by halftime, third quarter, just rolling through teams, and then as you get into playoffs, my senior year, the team that beat us in states was Kobe's team, actually.
Yeah.
It was back and forth. It was like 14-14 right before halftime, and then
It's a low scoring game for high school.
Right, and it was until they blew the doors open
floodgates,
on us.
the floodgates.
They went through and they kind of rolled, but yeah, I was the same way, like just kind of out there hanging out because letting everyone else get their reps in. I mean, you're up 30 points, like let everyone get in there, get some time and stuff. But then you come up here and it's just like, all right, we scored, like let's go. You want the defense to get a stop, but all right, they scored. All right, we're right back up, and it's just back and forth, constant.
It always feels like it don't matter how much you're up in the fourth quarter, somehow the other team's gonna come back. I don't know what it is. I've never seen this before, but it's like it doesn't matter what team it is. It's like they just come back. Just like you're like, oh gosh,
right.
Like I was like, we're up 14 points or we're up 21 points. All right, we're feeling good about ourselves, and then all you need to know is, oh gosh, they're back in the game.
I feel like the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter is always the scariest.
Yeah.
I feel like because it's like, all right, we only have 8 minutes, half of it left. We have half this quarter left, and that's game. And then like you said, all right, they put one in. Okay, all right, we go out there, maybe we get stopped. They put another one. It's like, oh, okay, all right. This lead is slowly dwindling down, but it's. And I think that's what's exciting about it, though.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it fun.
You never know.
But that's
You
the
never
thing
know.
that makes it fun every week. Because there are teams where I'd go pull up the film. Like, yeah, this team sucks. All right, I'm only going to play a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like here, it's like, all right, you're playing the whole game. You already, like, you know it. You just don't know if you're going to, like, you hope you're going to win.
Right.
You're going to act like you're going to try to win,
Right.
but you don't know if you're going to win or lose because, good grief, it could be anybody beating anybody.
Exactly.
So.
Like I said, that's just nature of our conference, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, literally, every Saturday.
Almost seems like we beat up each other too much.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, all these other
That's
conferences are, like, have good teams at the top, and then everyone else is kind of like,
Kind of
okay.
at the bottom.
And so it's like they get blown out and stuff like that. But I feel like sometimes we get hurt more because actually every team beats each other. Like,
right.
we just beat each other up.
We're seeing every week we're in a dogfight. I don't think that I've played one like easy game. You know, even in the few, you know, kind of blowouts that we've had, you're still in there basically the whole
I think
game.
there was one, like Bryant was probably the only one I remember I can think of that we actually like kind of blew the doors off of.
Right.
Other than that, I was like,
but even then, like we still played almost the whole game.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's like no even with those, like our bodies are still getting after it.
Yeah. All right, LJ, man. Appreciate you coming on the TO show, man. I had a fantastic conversation talking about a bunch of different things, you know, whether we're talking about LJ's hobbies, you know, where we talk about his Twitch stream. Don't be afraid to check LJ out, man. He is one heck of a gamer. I ain't the gamer here, man. I do.
We'll turn you into
outdoor. No, I'm the outdoors, man. I just go hang out outside. I don't like to sit in front of a screen all day.
Grab the cornhole boards. You'll be good.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to practice outside on the cornhole board. Just sit there all day and be tossing them in. But again, thanks LJ for coming on. And again, guys, was it the Polish Phantom?
Polish Phantom 86.
86. Go check LJ out, man. And again, guys, if you continue to like this content, feel free to like and subscribe, man. It goes a long way through the channel. And if you want to see even more of this content, also, as again, you guys can go to anchor.fm/Tyler-Oedekoven/support. And, you guys can, donate money to me, and it'll help the channel out and help me grow as we, get into things here. But and let me tell you, it goes a little bit, goes a long way. So again, I appreciate you guys' support and you guys listening. And until next week, peace.
See ya.